First off, I'd like to apologize for my voice. I recently lost it after hosting an event, but the channel has to go on. For today, we've got something special. This is the Mars Pro, a Bluetooth speaker from Gravastar. It already looks wild on the box art, so I'm pretty sure it'll be wilder in person. Let's get it unboxed. But before we continue with the video, let's keep the lights on here in the studio. This video is brought to you by Sneak Attack Design Lab. They're a clothing company that specializes in technical fashion, more commonly known as techwear, and you can see me in their clothes in most of my videos. I've been supporting their brand ever since I met them back in 2019, and now they're returning the favor. Head on over to this link, you can find it in the description as well, to get 10% off your order from their site. Check their clothes out, you're bound to see something badass over there that'll look great on you. Thank you very much to Sneak Attack for this exclusive promo for my viewers. Now, back to the video. So the Mars Pro is a desktop Bluetooth speaker from Gravastar. Yeah, the same company that made the Mercury M2 mouse I unboxed a while back. A continuing trend with their products are their cyberpunk aesthetic that goes beyond print. They don't just slap on a cyberpunk coat of paint on existing designs. They're modeled and built with materials that drive that aesthetic all the way home. As we can see on the large box that it comes in, it's a sphere-type speaker with 3 crab legs that raise it off the ground. It looks very mechanical, like a mech enemy from a video game or from Gundam or Zoids or something. It looks pretty cool. Here at the front we can see a lot of features being advertised, like its support for Bluetooth 5.0, its 15-hour battery life, and its true wireless stereo capabilities. Alright. At the back, we see a few more features mentioned like audiophile level acoustics, zinc alloy body, and its shock absorption structure. Upon opening up the box, we can see that the speaker and its accessories are encapsulated on the top and bottom with molded styrofoam to protect it from bumps during shipping, of course. Always great to see this. Apart from the speaker itself, it only comes with 3 pieces of accessories: a USB-A 2.0 to USB-C charging cable, a 3.5mm aux to USB-C cable for if you want to take advantage of a wired connection to your source. Do note that since the Mars Pro only has one USB-C port, you will have to choose either being hardwired to it or having it charge. You can't do both at the same time. And lastly, we have a pretty high quality manual. But even though it is high quality, we will be ignoring it for now. Heading on over to the Mars Pro speaker. Oh yeah, look at this bad boy right here. Oh, it's heavy too. It's got that unmistakable cold heavy metal feeling in the hand. Pretty awesome so far. Let's start the product tour. So like I said before, the Mars Pro is a sphere-type speaker that's propped up by 3 shock-absorbing crab legs. Here at the front, we can see its full-range driver, protected by mesh and a metal assembly. Right above that is the Gravastar logo and name, and at the top of the sphere is the touch input pad for controlling volume. We'll get to testing it later. Right at the back of the sphere, we can see 3 control buttons. On the left is the RGB lighting control button, at the middle we have the on and off and playback control button, and at the right we have the Bluetooth control and pairing button. We'll cover the controls later during setup. Right under the buttons, we see the second subwoofer driver. This is a rear-firing subwoofer, so I'm expecting some great bass performance out of this. Flipping it over, we can see the single USB-C charging and aux port on the sphere. There's also a piece of tape here, I think. This is for the wireless charging dock that can be purchased separately or as a bundle with the Mars Pro. Heading on over to the crab legs, their single joints can be individually adjusted to 3 positions and have some rubber nubs at the end to make sure the speaker doesn't start slipping and sliding on whatever surface you want to prop it up on. Do note that they cannot be swiveled, so pick a flat spot if you want to use this. So that's it for the product tour. Let's get it set up. Upon turning it on by long pressing the power button, we can see the Mars Pro light up in RGB with a corresponding audio cue. It also announces that Bluetooth has been connected to my phone as I set it up off camera before the shot.
Bluetooth connected.
On your first time turning it on, it should say that it's ready to pair. Alright, so playback control is pretty simple. Press once on the power button to play or pause your music, and that's it. I would have liked to see a double press for the next track and a triple press for previous track here, though. As for RGB control, mine came default in single color mode, but you can easily scroll through the different lighting modes by double pressing the RGB button. It has a solid color mode, an RGB cycle, and a reactive mode. While in solid color or reactive mode, single presses will cycle through the available colors. Lighting is pretty bright and saturated, but there's no option to have a white color. Lastly, you can long press the RGB button to turn off lighting and save battery. So that's the setup. Let's head on over to first impressions. So before I go into my first impressions on the sound, let's get our trusty Shure SM57 and Scarlet Fire and take a listen through the Mars Pro. I've also added sound tests of the JBL Flip 5 and JBL Go here, just so you know how the sound quality between these speakers stack up against the Gravastar Mars Pro. They will all be captured by the Shure SM57 at the same gain, angle, and distance, set to 50% volume, DSP effects turned off, and playing the same song off the same source, my Galaxy S22 Ultra playing Scarlet Fire off of YouTube Music. Let's have a listen. I think it's immediately apparent that the Mars Pro is miles ahead when it comes to bass performance than the two smaller JBL speakers. It's also considerably louder, which, judging by driver diameters, should be immediately obvious. In terms of sound quality, soundstage, and resolution, the Mars Pro is much more noticeably colored sounding than both JBLs. It's much more smoother with a medium dip V in its response curve. Bass is also much more pronounced without bleeding too much into the lower mids. It's also not as sibilant as the smaller JBL Go 3. Soundstage is considerably narrower than the JBL Flip 5 though, but that can be attributed to driver arrangement. The Mars Pro has one driver firing towards the listener and a subwoofer firing away from the listener. This linear configuration does allow for greater perceived volume and room presence, but doesn't really lend much to having a wide soundstage. Comparing it to the akimbo driver arrangement on the JBL Flip 5, this configuration allows the speaker to project wider perceptual sound at the cost of some clarity and less presence. But hey, that's the speaker game right there. You win some, you lose some. Resolution is pretty great though, as it was able to resolve as well, if not better than the JBL Flip 5, a track as busy as Scarlet Fire. Contrary to its EDM cyberpunk look, the Gravastar Mars Pro, based on its performance, should perform great as a smooth jazz and classics speaker. In this little test, it performed really well. I'll probably make an update short about this in the future once the drivers have burned in a little. So that's the Gravastar Mars Pro Bluetooth speaker. It looks out of this world, it performs as well as it looks, and in my opinion, a solid deal at $200. It's not as audiophile level as it advertises itself to be, but it's got enough going for it to be a good time. Make sure to try and listen to some jazz on this. If you want to purchase one for yourself, I've added some links in the video description. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about it and I'll do my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Helps out a lot. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.